You're overthinking it.
You're not good enough.
You need to
There
change.
is no
Why
help.
can't you
Fucking
go
more.
go
No one
suicide?
wants to
Suicide.
suicide. Kill yourself. Our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we handle stress, how we interact with other people, and how we see ourselves. This is actually one of the very first topics that we discussed in my study abroad class here in Kyoto. We talked about how the brain often reacts more strongly to negative experiences than positive ones. We talked about how stress affects mental health, and we even talked about how depression can come from so many different parts of someone's life. It isn't just always one thing. It can be family, school, relationships, finances, identity, isolation, or even the way someone thinks about themselves. Constant self-hatred or self-hatred alone is the gradual process of turning pain, criticism, guilt, and insecurity inwards until you begin to believe that you, not your circumstances, are the problem. And that made me ask myself, why do I want to study in mental health? The answer is simple. I want to help teenagers and young adults find a reason to keep living. I have personally experienced suicidal thoughts, extreme isolation, reaching a point where I did not want to continue living, and even attempting to take my own life. Because of that, I understand how serious it can become when someone feels like they have no way out. The struggles and miserable feelings can really strike a person, making them feel like there is no way of helping them. If I can help even one person feel less alone, or if I can even help a single individual find a reason to keep living, then that is something I want to dedicate my life to. And the very first thing for me to accomplish this mission is to find out a concept that interests me. One idea that has always interested me is the Japanese concept of the hikikomori. Hikikomori describes someone who completely withdraws from social life and society, often remaining isolated inside of their home or even a single room for 6 months or longer. But to me, hikikomori represents more than just staying inside. It represents what can happen when isolation begins to feel safer than participating in life itself. I first became interested in the idea through a game called Omori. Omori is a psychological horror game about a boy who retreats into an imaginary world while struggling with trauma, guilt, depression, and isolation. Although it is not an exact story about a hikikomori, I saw so many connections between the main character's withdrawals from the outside world and the way isolation can slowly become someone's entire identity. I could relate to certain aspects of it. There have been periods in my life where I did not want to socialize with anyone. I avoided school, I even avoided my own family. At the time, isolation felt easier than facing everything around me. Like there was absolutely no one that wanted me around. Like it was better that I was not even on this earth. But looking back, I realized that isolation can feel comforting in the short term, while making it much harder to reconnect with the world later on in life. And as of this time of writing this, I'm still on this journey of figuring myself out. And that brings me to my experiences coming to Japan. Before this trip, my mental health had reached one of the lowest points that it has ever been. I had experienced hospitalization, suicidal thoughts, and extreme isolation. Then I got accepted into this study abroad program in Kyoto. Suddenly, I had something to look forward to. I imagined that coming to Japan would completely change my life. I thought that constantly be talking to locals, exploring new places, having new experience, and maybe even living the life that I want to live forever. But expectations are separate from reality. Coming to Japan did not magically erase everything that I had experienced before. I'm still myself. I still sometimes feel mentally stuck in America. I still feel like I stand out like a sore thumb. There is a language barrier between me and many locals, and I even feel isolated from the people I am traveling with. I came to Japan expecting to escape the person that I had been, but I realized something. You can't simply travel to another country and leave every problem behind. You bring yourself with you. That realization connects to another part of my identity. Being a minority. In America, I have often felt that I stand out as a darker-skinned Asian person as I live in areas without much of a community with people who I look like. But in Japan, I look more like the people around me, but I still feel separated by the language barrier and the cultural differences. And that actually helped me realize that belonging is more complicated than simply looking like the people around you. Sometimes you can look like everyone else and still feel like an outsider, and sometimes being somewhere completely different can help you discover parts of yourself that you never had the opportunity to ever explore before. This is one reason why I think about moving to Japan in the future. Some people see this as running away from my problems, and maybe Sometimes, moving away can be an attempt to escape, but I do not believe that wanting a different life automatically means you are running away. Sometimes you are trying to find a new environment where you can grow. I do not believe Japan will magically fix everything in my life, but I do believe that the environment you live in can really affect who you become. And I really do want to find that environment where I feel like I have the best opportunity to become the best version of myself. I still have a lot to figure out, personally, financially, educationally, and most importantly, emotionally. I do not have everything figured out, and I don't know exactly where my life is going to take me, but I do know I want to continue studying mental health. I want to understand depression, understand isolation, and understand the experiences that cause people to lose hope in living. And now that makes me come up with the idea about what progress really is. I used to think that progress meant suddenly becoming a completely different person. Now I think progress simply means continuing to learn, continuing to grow, continuing to understand yourself, and continuing to move forward, even when you don't completely know exactly where you're going in life. Knowing me, I still have a lot to figure out, and even though the experience on my study abroad trip were not the most joyous, I have learned many lessons on this trip, especially on my own image, as I do not want to be seen as the guy people want to have a negative view on. But in general, this trip to me was not just a study abroad trip here in Japan, but it was more of a lesson to understand who I truly am as a person, and that's all I can ever ask for.